The Bible said you have a higher calling. That means a higher expectation, a higher responsibility. So we don't have any choice in the matter. So 18, it says, servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the forward. That means also to the wicked, the harsh ones. So whether my employer is good or not, whether my master is good or not, the Bible asks me to do what? Subject myself to them. Moving on to 19. For it is thankworthy if a man, for conscience towards God, endure grief, suffering wrongfully. This is the truth we don't like to hear. And that's probably why a lot of people don't dwell in the book of Peter. Because he's saying, look, for doing what? Look at it. Let's look at it. I don't know anybody. I've got a NIV here. NIV says, for it is commendable if someone bears up under the pain of unjust suffering because they are conscious of who? Of God. But is that who me and you are conscious of all the time? From the moment that we wake up, from the way that we relate with everybody around us, is it with the consciousness of God?
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Lots of people don't like this when I say this, but this is why if I say this now, a lot of people turn around and say, oh, they're trying to be a Muslim. This is why I personally like Muslims, because all these things they're saying now is what they do. I wake up in the morning and sometimes it's like, oh, okay, so what do I do with my day? So a Muslim person wake up and pray like 5 times.
Yes. Because you know the difference. Being a Muslim is not something they do on a Friday. Being a Muslim is their life. Does that make sense? That's why when you say when they wake up, and it's a good example because there's one apologist that I follow. He's now a Christian. He started off like a real solid Muslim. And he says from the moment he wakes up, just like you said, when he used to be a Muslim, the first leg he even puts out from the bed has to be according to the Quran. And as he's getting out, he's saying a prayer. When he goes to the toilet, he's saying a prayer. When he enters the shower, he's saying, even the leg that he takes first to enter the shower matters. When they eat, you observe, it's the same thing. So for them, being a Muslim is a way of life. But unfortunately, me and you weren't brought up to live like that. Most of us is normally on a Sunday. That's when we're Christian. That's the difference. And that's why the Bible is now saying, when you meditate on this word day and night, when you show yourself, you study to show yourself approved, you will now become to do what? Renew your mind and become transformed. So if Christianity was not a way of life for you before, what does it begin to do? It begins to become a way of life. So now that you know, when you wake up in the morning, it becomes a way of life. It becomes a way of life to the extent that even in your dream, it's like the other day, after this young man has gone back to school, I think I went back to bed, maybe listening to a message or something, but I started to doze off, and I did, to a certain level. You know what happened? I've never seen vision, so I don't know what a vision is, so I don't think it's a vision. I think I was sleeping and dream or daydream, whatever you want to call it, came. And as I was sleeping, it was like I suddenly became hungry, and somebody took a spoon, took rice, and put meat on it, just the way I like it, and they were bringing it towards my mouth. And immediately I woke up. I said, you're a liar. I said, every spirit that wants to, and this was still before I opened my eyes. Sorry?
I get that.
Do you eat it? Good. But some of us, we would have eaten it Then we wake up. But whatever it was, whether it was daydream, night dream, I could see the person. I couldn't see the face, but I saw the hand exactly the way I would like my rice and my meat. And they were bringing it to my mouth like this. I said, no, every spirit that wants to feed me food in my sleep. You can only do that if you are alert in the spirit. You don't do that in the physical. It's not possible. Because in the physical, my flesh will do what to that rice and meat? Exactly, like my boss will say, when your enemy wants to catch you, they look for your weak point. They don't look for your strong point. And that's why I'm describing to you that, because even in looking at that dream, I'm realizing that it's exactly the same way I like it. And I've realized since then now, I've noticed they keep coming back, they keep coming back with food. Why? Sorry? It's probably my weakness. It's my weakness. And they probably have tried, like Job. You remember the story of Job when the devil was having conversation with God? He said, have you not built an edge all around him? How did the devil know that an edge has been built all around him if he didn't try all of it? So they must have surely tried other things and it's not working. Do you remember a few weeks back? I think you remember when your sister was still here before she went to South Africa. When I said the same thing, I had a dream and my legs suddenly began to rot. And immediately in my sleep, I woke up. I started to pray, to rebuke. And I woke up in the morning, I said to my boss, I said, this was the kind of dream I had. And he said, him too. He saw somebody coming to stand beside my bed and they started to call incantation. And he stood up and they said, and they ran. They said, I didn't know this is how tough it is. Is it a coincidence? I had the dream, he saw it in the same room. Supposing both of us were not spiritually alert. And I told you during the day, before you know it, I started to feel a little bit of numbness in exactly the same place. In the kingdom, there's no such thing as coincidence. The Bible says, while we slept, the enemy came. Certain things, if we don't build up our spirit man, there's nothing we can do about it. Because the weapons of our warfare, the Bible says, they are not carnal. You don't fight physical with physical. It's not possible. We need to learn to operate in the spirit. The Bible says those that call upon the name of the Lord. Did it not say we are spirit? It says spirit, deep calleth unto deep. May God help us. Honestly, this subconscious thing, we've got to live our life on a day-to-day basis as what? As if unto the Lord. I'm not a Christian on Bible study day. I'm not Christian on the night vigil day. I'm not Christian on a Sunday. I'm a Christian 24/7. 24/7. From the moment I wake up, even when you're sleeping, you're still what? You're still a Christian. May God help us. 20. It said, but, this is NIV by the way. It said, but show it, I think they've written this wrong. But how is it to your credit if you receive a beating for doing wrong and endure it? That's what we don't want to hear. For doing what? But how is it to your credit if you receive a beating for doing wrong and endure it? It's not a credit because you've already done something wrong. So you're only getting chastised for what you've done wrong. But it says, but if you suffer for doing good and you endure it, this is commendable before God. So all your work are supposed to be what? Good. That means there's no slack. We're not supposed to slack.